Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS. Let's get to the news. Now folks, if you've been paying attention to the NFL landscape lately, especially the AFC North, you probably already know that things are heating up. And when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, the atmosphere is thick with anticipation, uncertainty, and a little bit of drama. We're talking about a team that has been trying to find stability at the quarterback position for what feels like forever. And right now, that quest has reached a new, potentially explosive chapter. I mean, let's be honest, Cleveland fans are no strangers to quarterback carousel stories, but this offseason has been particularly intense, with some unexpected moves and surprises that could redefine the franchise's trajectory for the next few years. So, what's the current situation? Well, it's all centered around the Browns' quarterback room, a room that might be the most crowded and complicated in the entire league. You've got Deshaun Watson, the former Houston star who's trying to bounce back from some off-field and injury issues, but he's still the undisputed leader of this group when healthy. Then there's Joe Flacco, a veteran presence who's been around the block and provides leadership and stability, especially for the younger guys. But the intriguing part is what's happening with the younger quarterbacks, like Dillon Gabriel and SHEDEUR Sanders, both of whom are rookies, both with a lot to prove, and both dealing with injuries right now. And here's where it gets really interesting. The Browns, in what can only be described as a bold and somewhat questionable move, just signed Tyler Huntley, a quarterback with NFL experience, notably with the Ravens and Dolphins. Now, Huntley isn't a star, but he's shown flashes of mobility and competence, enough to make him a notable addition to a crowded room. But what does that mean for Kenny Pickett, the former first-round pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Well, that's the big question, isn't it? Because Pickett, who's been trying to carve out a starting role in the NFL, has already seen his opportunities dwindle. His journey has been a roller coaster, initially drafted by Pittsburgh, where expectations were high, but he never quite lived up to the hype, struggling to produce consistent results on the field. Pickett's time in Pittsburgh was marked by a frustrating lack of production. Over 25 games, he only managed to throw 13 touchdowns, which simply isn't enough for a starting quarterback in today's NFL, especially for a team that's been searching for stability at that position. The Steelers, recognizing that Pickett wasn't the answer to their Super Bowl dreams, made the move to trade him away after just one season, sending him to the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you think that was the end of his NFL journey, think again. After a year in Philly, the Eagles decided to part ways with him, and he found himself back on the market, this time traded again, this time to the Cleveland Browns, for what many would call pennies, a modest return that speaks volumes about how NFL teams view his potential right now. What makes this even more compelling is the context of the Browns' quarterback strategy this offseason. Cleveland's front office seems to have adopted a throw everything at the wall and see what sticks approach, bringing in multiple quarterbacks to compete and hope that one emerges as the clear starter. It's a gamble, but it's also a reflection of how uncertain they are about the long-term solution. With Pickett, Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson, Dillon Gabriel, and SHEDEUR Sanders all vying for playing time, it's a crowded field. But of course, with so many players in the mix, the reps are limited and the competition is fierce. The Browns' coaching staff has a tough job ahead, trying to evaluate each quarterback's progress, especially with two rookies, Gabriel and Sanders, still recovering from injuries. Now, here's where the story gets even more compelling. Just 2 weeks into training camp, the Browns made a major move by signing Tyler Huntley. And folks, this isn't just a minor signing. Huntley's arrival could have serious implications for the entire quarterback hierarchy in Cleveland. With Pickett, Gabriel, and Sanders all nursing injuries, Huntley has an excellent chance to impress during camp. If Huntley performs well, he might leapfrog ahead of Pickett on the depth chart, and that could spell trouble for the former first-round pick. If Huntley can demonstrate mobility, decision-making, and leadership, the Browns might not hesitate to make a tough decision, releasing Pickett before the season even starts. And that's what makes this situation so tense and intriguing for Browns fans. It's a reminder of how competitive the NFL is, especially at the quarterback position. Every performance, every practice rep, every game counts. Pickett's dream of earning a starting role in Cleveland might be slipping away faster than anyone expected, especially with Huntley's arrival. The Browns' coaching staff will be watching closely, and if Huntley shows the ability to lead this team, it's almost certain that Pickett's window to prove himself is closing rapidly. This all ties into the larger story of the Browns' ongoing quest for stability at quarterback. We've seen flashes of potential from Deshaun Watson, but consistency has eluded him. The team's hope has always been that Watson can return to form and become the franchise quarterback they envisioned. But until that happens, Cleveland will continue to experiment, to evaluate, to make moves in the hope of finding that perfect fit. The addition of Huntley adds a new layer to this saga, and it's a move that could determine the direction of the franchise for the upcoming season and beyond. It's also worth noting the historical context. Cleveland has had its fair share of quarterback struggles over the decades. From Bernie Kosar to Tim Couch, to Baker Mayfield and now Deshaun Watson, the Browns have often been searching for a consistent, high-level performer behind center. The recent moves, including the signing of Huntley and the potential release of Pickett, are just the latest chapter in this long, often frustrating story. But there's reason to believe that the current management is trying something different, something aggressive, to finally put an end to this perpetual search. For Browns fans, it's a roller coaster of emotions. On one hand, there's hope that Deshaun Watson returns to elite form, providing the stability needed for a playoff run. On the other hand, the uncertainty at backup and developmental quarterback positions creates anxiety. Will Huntley step up and seize this opportunity? Will Pickett find a new team that values his potential? Or will Cleveland be left scrambling once again, searching for that elusive franchise quarterback? It's a story that's still unfolding, and every day, every practice, adds a new twist. The AFC North itself is also in flux. The Cincinnati Bengals are still led by Joe Burrow, looking to defend their division title, while the Baltimore Ravens are trying to rebuild and find their identity after some key injuries and roster changes. The Pittsburgh Steelers are in a bit of a rebuilding phase at quarterback, especially with Kenny Pickett still trying to find his footing. This division is wide open, and the Browns are trying to position themselves at the top, but the quarterback situation could make or break their chances. So, as we watch this story develop, it's clear that Cleveland is making bold moves, and the quarterback carousel continues to spin. It's a testament to how competitive and unpredictable the NFL really is. Every team is looking for that one spark, that one player who can elevate the entire roster. For the Browns, right now, that puzzle is still incomplete, and the signing of Huntley might just be the latest piece that changes everything. And of course, the fans are right there in the middle of it all, living and breathing every moment, hoping for the next big breakthrough, the next star to emerge. The tension, the hope, the frustration, it's all part of being a Browns supporter right now. But one thing is for sure, Cleveland isn't standing still. They're making moves, taking chances, and trying to finally get over that playoff hump and into serious Super Bowl contention. The road is long, but with every decision, every addition, they're inching closer to their goal. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Cleveland Browns news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So what does this all mean for the Browns moving forward? Well, it's a clear sign that the franchise isn't afraid to shake things up. They're betting on competition, on talent, and on the hope that someone can be the answer at quarterback. Whether it's Deshaun Watson getting back to his prime form, or someone like Huntley stepping up and earning that starting role, the Browns are creating a dynamic, high-stakes environment that could lead to surprises. And if Huntley outperforms expectations, that could spell the end for Pickett in Cleveland, which, frankly, would be a tough pill for many Browns fans to swallow, given the hope that once surrounded him. But that's the NFL, a league where opportunity is fleeting, and everyone's fighting tooth and nail for their shot. Kenny Pickett's story is still being written, and for now, it seems like his time in Cleveland might be running out faster than he anticipated. The Browns coaching staff is making it clear that they're not going to wait around indefinitely. They're looking for the guy who can lead them to a Super Bowl. And if Huntley proves to be that guy, the transition could happen sooner rather than later. And let's not forget the bigger picture here. Cleveland is still trying to establish a culture of winning. They've made some bold moves in free agency and the draft, but nothing is more critical than the quarterback position. Without that, it's nearly impossible to sustain success. The addition of Huntley, the competition with Gabriel and Sanders, and the uncertain future of Pickett all highlight just how vital this offseason is for the Browns. It's almost like a high-stakes chess game, with each move potentially changing the entire game plan. There's also a lot of hope and optimism among Browns fans who believe that this is the year everything finally clicks. That Deshaun Watson will return to form, that Huntley will surprise everyone, and that the team's depth at quarterback can finally give them the stability they've been craving for so long. Yet at the same time, there's a cautious awareness that the NFL is a brutal league, where only the strong survive, and opportunities don't come often or last long. Browns fans know this all too well. They've seen promising seasons falter, promising players leave, and hopes dashed in the blink of an eye. But this season feels different. There's a palpable energy around the team, a sense that Cleveland might finally be turning a corner. The moves they're making, including the signing of Huntley, reflect an aggressive mindset, a willingness to take risks and make bold decisions for the sake of winning. Whether it's a gamble that pays off or not, one thing's certain: the Browns are not content with the status quo. They're pushing forward, trying to outsmart the competition, and aiming for that elusive Super Bowl victory. And as we look ahead, it's exciting to think about what's next. Will Huntley rise to the challenge and become Cleveland's new starting quarterback? Will Pickett find a new team where he can finally get a real shot? Or will the Browns stick with their current roster and hope that Watson regains his elite form? The answer will come in the coming weeks. But one thing is clear: the drama is far from over, and Browns fans have plenty to discuss and analyze. This entire situation is a perfect microcosm of the NFL's unpredictability. A team that was once seen as a contender is now in the midst of intense competition at the most critical position. The stakes couldn't be higher, and every move the Browns make could tip the balance, either propelling them toward a deep playoff run or setting them back even further. The NFL is a game of inches, and right now, Cleveland is trying to take every inch they can to get closer to their ultimate goal, that coveted Super Bowl ring. So for all the Browns fans out there, keep your eyes glued to training camp and preseason. Watch how Huntley performs, see how the other quarterbacks recover and develop, and stay tuned for updates on whether Cleveland's quarterback puzzle is finally coming together or if they'll have to keep searching. Whatever happens, one thing is for sure: this season promises to be one of the most exciting and unpredictable in recent memory. The Browns are making bold moves, and we're here to cover every step of this incredible journey. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news.